Hello and welcome to episode 77 of the Wisdom from the Akashic Podcast. My name is Suzie, I am your host, and I am an Akashic Records teacher and practitioner. Before I get into today's topic, just a quick update in respect of working one-on-one with me. You can now register your interest via the website in Akashic Records practitioner mentorship. So if you are an Akashic Records practitioner and you would like me to mentor you and spend 6 months with you to help you get established in your business or to maybe expand your current offering, then please do get registered over there. I'm only going to be taking on a couple more clients for 2025. My schedule is now pretty full, but I am keeping 2 spots open so you can register your interest there. We can book an alignment call and then we can sit and chat and see if this is a good fit for you. In respect of one-off sessions, so Akashic Records readings, clearings, or combination sessions, which is a session where we do both, these are only currently open for members. Members are able to book those in the members area. So if you are interested in one of those and you're not a member yet, then do please get signed up for the membership. And through there, you're going to be able to book a one-on-one session with me. These are very limited and they do go on a first come first serve basis. Now that all that is out of the way, today I just wanted to go into a little bit of an overview of my upcoming Awakening the Divine Feminine Within class. The Awakening Divine Feminine Within class is spending 12 weeks, although last time we ended up doing an extra session, so it was actually 13 weeks. But it's 12 weeks with me to really work on your internal divine feminine energy and your connection to it. Okay? This course came about because in a lot of my one-on-one sessions with people, whether that's working with them long-term or just one-off sessions, one of the things that was consistently being brought through, especially for women, was this disconnection or this inability to connect to their internal divine feminine energy. Now, there's a whole host of reasons as to why this is, but one of the things that we need to understand is that we need to be able to work with all of our internal energies. And most of us are very good at working with our internal masculine energy, so structure, discipline, productivity. Because of the way that we've been programmed and conditioned in our current society, this is all very natural to us, working with this energy. However, when it comes to the feminine energy, which is more about flow, it's more about rest, it's more intuitive, it's more going inwards, this tends to be an energy that a lot of us have a problem connecting to. And I hold my hands up to this. I was extremely disconnected to my feminine energy for a very long time. And only when I learned how to reconnect and really awaken it within me was I able to make significant progress in respect of my own spiritual development. It's very normal to come to a point on your spiritual journey where you start to stagnate because you're not paying attention to and connecting to that other aspect of you. We all have both internal masculine energy and internal feminine energy. And on your spiritual journey, what you're doing is you're looking to come to a place of union of these energies. And this is represented really well in the yin-yang symbol that's very popular. This understanding that there are these 2 aspects and we're merging them into one. And that is what divine union means. So the purpose and the intention behind the class, the Awakening the Divine Feminine, is really first of all teaching you what the divine feminine energy is, because we've lost a lot of the teachings around that internal divine feminine energy, understanding what it is and understanding how the spiritual journey is different when it's looked at from the perspective of that internal divine feminine energy, and looking at how the spiritual journey is different for someone who is born into a biological female body compared to someone who is born into a biological male body. There is a difference between the hero's journey and the heroine's journey. And a lot of the time, women come to me frustrated on their spiritual journey. They're doing all of the things. And what's actually happening is they are only focusing on masculine energy dominant practices because these are the ones that are very popular in the spiritual community. So this is what the Divine Feminine class is all about. It's all about helping you understand the Divine Feminine and also how to work with it internally yourself. By learning how to work with your internal Divine Feminine energy, you're going to enhance your intuition, you're going to strengthen those clair senses that we've talked about before, and you're going to enhance your ability to channel. It's really about tuning into and working with your internal technology that, as you know, is a big theme for 2025. So I just wanted to cover a few of the things that we cover in the class. Of course, we start the class with understanding how and why spiritual development is different for women compared to men. We all have internal divine feminine and internal divine masculine energy, but there is a difference in respect of the spiritual journey. So we get into that. We also cover why biological birth choice is important from the perspective of an incarnation. We then get into the nervous system, and the nervous system is really important because, as you know from listening to this podcast, it really is the foundation to all other works. We do an overview of the nervous system, and then we also look at the nervous system from the perspective of the feminine energy and getting it regulated. We then get into the law of three and how we can work with the law of three in respect of the feminine energy. And then we start to take a look at feminine energy archetypes. Now, archetypes are really important when it comes to working with our internal feminine energy, because we will choose certain archetypes prior to coming into an incarnation that we want to work with. So think of an archetype as being like a program that we download, and it's downloaded before we come into an incarnation. It's kind of like, okay, I'm going to pick that archetype and I'm going to work with that in myself. Archetypes and understanding archetypes is about understanding that internal landscape. And we choose that archetype and we put it into our soul blueprint for coming into the incarnation. Think of it as like a little flavor for the incarnation. And we specifically look at 13 dominant types of archetypes that are connected to the feminine energy. Again, this is because we've lost a lot of the teachings around feminine energy archetypes. It's great to see that they are definitely making a comeback. But in Western society specifically, we've really lost that connection to those archetypes. And we may have a very limited understanding as to what those archetypes are. The feminine energy is often referred to as the goddess with 1,000 faces. So yes, we only can cover a certain number in the class, but this will give you a really good overview as to the very many different faces of the divine feminine and help you understand which of those archetypal energies you're working with and that you've chosen for this lifetime. You, of course, get lots of homework and lots of practices for you to help work with those archetypal energies. And we also cover different issues that come up during that archetypal journey. So, for example, we'll come across inner child and look at inner child from the aspect of the divine feminine, mother wounding from the aspect of the divine feminine, witch wounding from the aspect of the divine feminine. We also look at some of the main problems that people have in respect of rejecting or disconnecting from their internal divine feminine energy. So things like relationship to power, people pleasing, shadow work, really understanding ourselves, understanding our boundaries. And then we get into the heroine's journey. So understanding the journey of that internal feminine energy and your relationship to it. The journey of the feminine is the descent. It's the going inwards. It's the materialization. And this is what this aspect is about. We then talk about creative energy, and creative energy is sexual energy. It's the Shakti, it's the Kundalini, and how to work with, how to connect to that. There are lots of reasons why people are wounded or damaged around the creative aspect, around that energy. And we look at practices that can help with that as well. We also cover the feminine energy dominant chakras. So the sacral chakra, the heart chakra, and the third eye chakra. And we also introduce the different clair senses. So we go into detail about the different clair senses and how to work with them in respect of our connection to our internal divine feminine energy and our intuition. As I'm sure you can appreciate, there is a lot to this class. It is an intensive. There is always lots of homework. I'm going to provide a workbook with this one to help you through and to help you through the homework. But I would love to see you there if you're feeling like, I feel very disconnected from my creative energy. I feel very disconnected from my internal divine feminine energy, from my intuition. Then this class, I think, would be really helpful for you. We're going to be starting in October. As I said, it's a 12-week class, so we will get finished up before Christmas. And at the moment, there is a discount code for £300 off the main price. I will pop a link into the show notes if you want to get signed up using the discount. Please do so. The early bird discount is going to run until the 31st of August. And then after that, it's going to be full price until we get started. So I hope you've enjoyed this little overview of the class. If you have any more questions about the class or you want to know anything more about it, please feel free to drop me an email. And I will, of course, get back to you. I know lots of you have signed up already for this one. And I really look forward to getting into it all with you in the autumn, which is traditionally a very feminine energy time with Halloween, with going into the darkness, with going into hibernation mode. So I hope you found this helpful, and I look forward to seeing you all next week for the next episode.